Okay, let me go to the theory that this is all about the UN, because you believe that.
I do. You know, I'd sent you a little note. I mean, my thought is this has nothing to do with Syria. If you look at the Middle East as on a grand scale, it's been perpetual conflict. So as a world leader, how do you use that to your advantage? How can you benefit from this perpetual conflict? You know, if you don't have, the Constitution is by default the law of the world, because there's nothing higher other than the United Nations. The United Nations is a broken organization. It has no credibility. So, you know, in a situation like this where you have Russia, who's, you know, bumping up as, you know, becoming a superpower, you take Russia, you take America, you take China, you create this controversy, you create this crisis that's resolved through superior leadership and diplomacy on the floor of the UN. You add credibility. And essentially, at that point, what you have is you can stuff the Constitution underneath it. And if we obey by UN regulations, we'd be violating the Constitution left and right. So if you want to look at it from a, you know, grand scale progressive conspiracy theory, if you want, you know, how do you make that happen? How do you know, make the U.S. dollar, knock it out as a world's reserve currency? How do you take us off the top of the heap? Well, you got to prop up other people. There has to be an organization that sits over us and that we obey.
So let me take it, because that's an evil. That's evil if that's right. What's happening. But I'm looking at an administration that either has a flat learning curve, completely flat, and is deaf, dumb, and blind to the world's events, or they know exactly who the Muslim Brotherhood is. So are they misguided, just arrogant and foolish, or are they evil? I mean, we're in bed with evil.
Well, they're certainly both dishonest and very, very naive about the Muslim Brotherhood in this sense. I think they know who the bad guys are in the Muslim Brotherhood. There's no way you could look at what happened in Egypt and not know that. Even if you didn't want to know it, you've had a demonstration of it. But they continue to believe that the Muslim Brotherhood is a fractured group and that the responsibilities of governance will moderate them if they get into power.
Okay, the speech is on at 9 o'clock tonight. Back in a minute.